one person who's actually bringing the business back that he had beforehand. I've got to tell you that it's a very stirring place, but it's still a place that there's a lot of fear. And I would have thought by this point there would be more people who say, you know what, I really want to get back there. This is where I had a successful business. But there's just a lot of people who think it's a target. And I think that the fear is too great. But I felt fearful when I came down. I think I was too fearful when I first started doing it. We should watch. This guy's a terrific guy. He ran a small business that I think is just the kind of typical of what we didn't think was in the old towers. We were used to being big law firms, big accounts, whatever. He escaped the building on 9/11, but like so many people, he didn't survive completely unscathed. Listen to his story. We all lost friends that day. You lost a very good friend.
Yeah, Jimmy, his name was James Martello. We had grown up since 6 years old together, next to each other, 3 houses away. And we had always been like brothers, really. We were co-captains of the football team. He was my best man at my wedding. My wife and I loved him to death. This is Jimmy's name here.
Just one of so many who died on the ground that day. It was overwhelming for Greg, and for a long time, he couldn't bring himself to return.
For 5 or 6 years, I avoided it like the plague, actually, because I was really shell-shocked. It was hard. And,
so many people felt that way. It's what he did next that really set him apart. Yeah, Carol Fellow, he eventually did overcome his trauma and returned to the site. In fact, he is the only tenant of the World Trade Center. It's also a tenant in the new World Trade Center. By the way, it is called the new World Trade Center, not the Freedom Tower anymore. And his connection to the site go well beyond that. And we got more on his story and about the rebirth of the iconic place. And I've got to tell you, we spent some time talking with New Yorker, for instance, with David Remnick. And Condé Nast went in there, but then people say, well, Condé Nast went in because they got special breaks. But then I go to where their office is, and initially when I'm doing this, I'm saying, wow, who would want to be there? By the end, I'm thinking that was a very good move because it's a safe building in an area where of an unsafe world. I mean, frankly, one of the themes that I felt that stuck out with me was in the time that I was doing this documentary, we had 3 separate terrorist attacks that were soft attacks, so to speak. And this building is a fortress. It's a fortress.
Jim, is it fear, or do you think it's the fact that it's, for a lot of people, it's hallowed ground, and they just would feel bad being back there?
Split. I mean, I think there's some people who say, how could you possibly build a commercial Breitling, Kate Spade on a cemetery, basically on Gettysburg, on Arlington. But the answer is that it was always there. It's a commercial area. There's an Oculus that's a huge, expensive structure right where the Port Authority comes up, and people go to work. And I think that throughout this, I was questioning whether this was the right use. And in the end, I came out and said, you know, it's kind of a messy democracy that we have. There were different interests that wanted to build, different interests that didn't. And it coalesced into something that I really want everyone to go to and make up their own mind. It's really very personal. I mean, initially, I felt when I went down, I said, why would I want to be here? I work a couple blocks away. At the end, I came away and said, wow, it's an amazing place to go to work.
It's a beautiful building, yeah. How occupied is it?
Oh, it's still got a little ways to go.
Yeah,
they're signing up a lot. It's another tower that, because News Corp backed out, that is really the one that people are saying they got to fill that. But it's really very busy down there. And I had gone to the museum.
You got Italy now.
Yes,
you got all this other
had
stuff around it too. It's not a wasteland where you just have the corner deli to go get something to eat.
That was the problem. Look, when I went to the museum, which I was going to make a day in New York with family, no, you can't do anything at the museum because it's heavy. I mean, but it's fabulous, but it tells the story, but it's heavy. But it was all construction site. And so when I heard they asked me to do the doc, I said, oh, gee, I'm going to have to go through this, go through that. You have to do this. I had gotten lost. I've been downtown for 35 years. I'd gotten lost trying to find the museum throughout the thing. It's all down.
And people say, too, a lot of, listen, not only do you work down there, I mean, let's take it back a little bit. Again, what a lot of people may not understand, because it's been 15 years, is that the way that a lot of financial firms work is, for good or ill, a lot of the men and women live in the same areas. It just sort of works out that way. And you had whole towns in New Jersey, near where you live, near
Summit,
wiped out.
Yeah,
because you'd have a lot of the companies that, just like 50 of the guys happen to live in the same town.
That's why
and their families were friends, and their kids were friends.
That's why the museum was so hard, because we went to go look up all of our friends. And we decided that's what we're going to do. We wanted to show our kids who were little then, grown up, we're going to show them their families. And you get to a couple and you say, it's just very hard. It's just very hard, but obviously life goes on. I know that's one of the kind of a sub-theme
Right.
of the documentary. But yeah, the museum is a must. Geez. Greg, the fellow we saw, he's someone who does tours for people. And there's tremendous courage for just going. I mean, a lot of my friends won't go. A lot of my friends didn't want me to do it. They said, I have friends who said, how can you do that documentary?
I told the story earlier. I had breakfast in the lower part of the World Trade Center. What was it called? The Winter Garden with an analyst the day before. And as I was leaving, I was walking. There was a skyway above West Street from the Winter Garden into the Pure World Trade Center. And I remember walking. It was like 10 a.m. And there was this young lady coming toward me very quick. I tell she was in a hurry. She had like a briefcase and she said, sir, she had a southern accent, sir, can you tell me where the World Trade Center is? I said, you're about ready to get into it. Just keep it going. And she's like, I got a job interview, and was going. And, it was the day before. And it's weird. Everyone's got these stories, but I always think, I hope she didn't get a call back. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't, there's all those people.
Well, there's that room in the museum where it's 1 minute before it happens what America was like. Yeah. And then the next. And that's another room that, there's just rooms that you got to just steel yourself to go through.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the I right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.